Alright, welcome to Nosy Joe's Motovlog, covering IXCR Round 8, Whiskey River in Milton, Kentucky. This is just south of the river, across the river from Madison, Indiana. So IXCR, not a series I normally race, but I did this once last year on the XR600 and decided to do it again on the DRZ400E this year. I'm in row 9, senior C. You can see we've already got some bikes down in the first couple of turns there. It's a really nice day, as high as 71 degrees. It had rained a little bit on Friday, but it was very dry. Really, the rain just kind of kept the dust down. Other than some creeks, we didn't really see any water or mud, maybe just coming out of a creek, and that's about it. Pretty tight section here in the rocks. This creek was a lot wetter last year. Looks like they're piled up there ahead, so we took a go around here into the field, and then we're going to drop back in up here to the left. So problems early on this first lap. You can see we're kind of bottleneck getting back into the creek. Everybody's riding real tight and close to each other. This first lap was pretty just challenging with there was 265 riders in this AM race, and there was just a lot of people down here and there. Pretty good uphill, one of several. And then we come back down. Some of this, like here, seemed like it was kind of fresh. I heard that they had to cut some new track because of some tornado damage. So, little jump here that I just rolled. I didn't like the idea of jumping down there. Curl back up here to the left, and there's another jump. I guess I don't jump well going uphill either. Moderate hill climb up here, curving up to the left. Like I said, I'm on my DRZ400E. It's a 2003 model. Stock engine, of course. Stock engine, though, on a E model has the FCR 39. Doesn't need the 3x3 mod because it's already got it. It does have full FMF exhaust on it, and I've done some suspension work. Gold valves mostly on the shock. Other than that, it's pretty much a stock DRZ. Little dip here to another little hill climb. If you look at last year's video I made, it is a little bit different layout. It's about the same length. It was definitely wetter last year, which caused some problems. But there was a lot of similar terrain as well. Of course, it's supposed to be about 8 miles. Showing you my first lap here, which was about 29 minutes long. It's an hour and a half race. I did 3 laps. Last video, guys were asking me about my flex bars. I do run the flex bars, and the Scott steering damper. Scott steering damper was on the bike. It's one of those things I'm not really sure what all it's doing, but it's not hurting anything. And then the flex bars are definitely noticeable. So right up here at the barn, I do a quick edit here. If you notice I kind of slowed down. This is my rerun at this hill. The first time I went up it, there was just 50 bikes stuck, so I went back down and waited, and then made a run at it here a second time. You can see there's still a lot of bikes stuck, but not as many. At least there was a path to the top. But that was 11 minutes of my first lap. Was waiting for this to clear up. They thought there might be a bypass or something, but they just said no, you were gonna have to do it. And it really wasn't too bad. It just couldn't do it with a whole bunch of bikes in the way. So DRZ powered up that no problem, and then they take us back down here. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I think in my little video intro, you might have seen where I came up and had to lay the bike down about halfway up the hill because of all the people in the way. But I didn't want to show you me sitting around waiting for 11 minutes. So that was 11 minutes. So this lap was actually a 40-minute lap for me, but I'm showing you the clean version at 29. That stuff's kind of out of your control sometimes. Some of the faster guys in my class, it looked like it cost them 2 or 3 minutes, so somehow they made it through there. I wouldn't have much luck. A couple times here, we had logs on hill climbs that we had to deal with. I just took kind of a poor line on this hill. This hill last year, with the combination of the rocks and the mud, was really tough. The dry conditions made it a lot easier this year. For tires, I'm running a fairly worn out V33S in the back at about 8 pounds, but it hooked up just great. Today I know, looking at it, it's like it needs to be changed, but that IRC V33S is just a really good tire. Another downhill. And I'm running a similar aged VX40 in the front, about 14 PSI, which is identical setup as what I ran last year on the XR600. I just found that to be a pretty good combination as long as it's not super muddy. The XR600 liked it, and really this bike weighs about the same. It's a little more top heavy than the XR, but otherwise there's a lot of similarities. The front forks are definitely better on the DRZ. And a little tight stuff here. Back into some creek. Get out of second gear and get rolling again. Couldn't see it, but there was a tree down there I had to duck to go under. Take the far right line. I kind of learned the last race that I was at, which was Stony Lonesome, that this bike really starts to smooth out in third gear, so that's where I need to be. I don't think I'm in it right now, though. There's just still some sketchy stuff I got to deal with on this log road, so I'm not confident to open it up yet. A lot of exposed rocks and stuff. I should be more confident on it. I mean, the one thing the DRZ doesn't do is really deflect much. I mean, it's pretty stable. Yeah, it sounds like third gear now. There's definitely some areas here in this race where you could really get some speed. That guy that just flew by me, he spent some time on that hill with me trying to figure out if we should wait it out or what. Trying to look for an opportunity to pass this guy. He's not slowing me down a lot, but he's slowing me down a little bit. Here's my opportunity. I got faster through these sections on the second and third laps because I kind of knew how long I was going to be out in the open. It gets a little choppy here at the end of this grass, getting back into the dirt path, but then you can roll on it again. I just passed. So yeah, back on the flex bars, if you first start using them, you'll kind of notice your bars will move, but then you kind of forget about that real soon, and I really like them. They just take a lot of the impact out of your wrist. I used to have the feeling that my wrists were almost jammed after a race, and I think it's helped with arm pump too. And you know, just like on these really steep downhills, I can really support. I can almost kind of straight arm it and support myself, and then the bars will give a little bit of flex and I'm not hurting my wrists. So this is from last year. I knew to take this left line. It was just a little bit easier line, so I took it every time. It wasn't quite as steep right there. And then on this log road you could really open it up again. So there was a really kind of fast midsection to this race. I really like this location. Second time being here, and just such a good variety of things. And they hop you up through here on this hill. A little bit tricky because you kind of got to be turning and climbing pretty steep at the same time, but not too bad. this downhill here last year was where I wrecked on my XR600. Again, it was a lot wetter last year, and you just kind of get on this combination of hard rocky surface with a glaze of mud, and it became hard to keep that 600 under control. Now the 400, I don't know, I think the brakes are about the same. Conditions are definitely better, so I didn't really have any trouble with it here, but this was a really rough area last year. Right, let that guy go around. So I did a video a couple months ago about, will a DRZ400 hair scramble, and the answer to that, there's the guy that went around me earlier. The answer to that is yes. I mean, if you're not too fast of a rider, which I'm not, there's nothing the DRZ can't do pretty well. And there's just some things that I think it naturally does well for kind of more intermediate riders, in terms of just very easy engine to control, very linear power. It is a little heavy, but it feels very planted. Good traction. You can kind of gear it to where you need it to be in terms of getting a little more low-end torque, which I did. It's cheap to work on and get parts for. Here's a little tricky section here that I kind of messed up. Oh. So yeah, picking it up isn't real fun, but picking up the XR600 wasn't that fun either. The cool thing about the DRZ is it restarts real easy. Yeah, I know what I was doing there. I think I thought there was maybe an alternate route straight up through there, but it turned into nothing. And they put a little log jump in the middle here, which I was able to make. Barely. That was one of the more tricky sections. That caught me. I think I probably only did that clean once of the 3 laps. But yeah, do you need to spend 10 grand on a new bike? I mean, you can, and I do like new bikes. I've had a new bike before. But if you want to go hair scrambling, just take your lights off your DRZ400S and probably change the sprockets and change the tires, and you can do it. That was Ryan Potter on a Stark Varg Open D. There's a lot of elevation at this course, up and down, up and down. And I always take the going down part pretty cautiously. As far as hill climbs though, the DRZ does great. It totally climbs. It doesn't quite have that just bottom end grunt that the 600 had. So you have to be a little more mindful of what gear you're in, but it definitely can handle it. The XR was a lot more forgiving as far as the engine was torqueier, and then the transmission was just geared a little bit better. The DRZ is a little bit weird in first and second. Where the 600 had kind of more usable gears, all of them. So I might try to do one more race before MSXC starts. They start in late September, last weekend, and I know that I can't go to that one, so I'm going to miss round one. But there's a Crossroads XC race the weekend before, which is probably the last one of those. Cashmore's, he owns both those series, Crossroads and MSXC, so I might hit that, just kind of a final test and tune before getting into the MSXC Winter Series. Things I got planned for the bike: I got a fresh set of tires, I've got some KKE wheels that I'm going to put the fresh tires on. I'm going to stick with heavy-duty tubes that have not really been letting me down. This DRZ has kind of, I guess, the same problem that a lot of them have, where the water pump impeller shaft seal just lets a little bit of fluid drip out, really just when the bike's cold. But so I've been reading up about the RTB silicon mod, so I think I'll go ahead and do that before the MSXC event. And I think that's about it. I guess I got a set of hoses, so I was just going to kind of replumb the radiators and everything with some dual layer silicon hoses. I bought those, I think, originally because I thought one of them was leaking, but it turns out it's the water pump itself. I'm just going to go ahead and go all fresh fluids, oil change, get the cooling system as good as I can. I think, for the DRZ, I've never had it overheat on me or anything, so it does a good job. But I don't like having leaks there, so. This last 4 or 5 minutes of the race, you could kind of tell you were getting close to the campground, but, and parking and everything, but it just seems like it kind of goes on forever. Kind of winds around out there just trying to stretch the course out or what, but I kept thinking I'm almost done, but I wasn't. fast either. I see these guys flying by and I decide to kick it up a notch here. Surely we're about done, but there's actually got a minute to go. Take you back into the creek. That for the log. Last little straightaway here, and that's pretty much it for me. I'm 15th place coming into my first lap, but I ended up in 13th. So anyway, see you guys at MSXC later.